We start with the latest on the migrant crisis, and Rishi Sunak will meet Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni this weekend for talks on immigration. Sunak and Meloni met in October to discuss efforts to coordinate an international response to migration. And I'm joined now by our political editor, Christopher Hope. Chris, good afternoon. So Sunak's popularity is about as high as the Grinch as we approach Christmas. He's going to Italy, hopefully, to get some tips, because as well as meeting Meloni, the Albanian Premier will be there. And of course, Meloni has just done a deal for offshore containment in Albania to tackle the boats. Do you think some of those ideas might rub off when Rishi's in Rome?
Well, they could do. It's a group called the Brothers of Italy. It's a gathering of right-of-centre political leaders. Mr Sunak and Ms Meloni are quite good friends. They've got quite a close relationship. They met at the G20 in Delhi when we were out there with the Prime Minister. They have this, you see now on images now as I'm speaking, they do get on pretty well. I think, we need our allies now in the European Union, and Italy and the UK do share this concern about migration. Now, Italy have developed their idea with Albania to process applications in Albania. The difference is, though, of course, that the UK approach is one of deportation rather than a processing centre. But Germany looking at something similar. And this is a point which Labour make to us quite frequently. They're against this idea because it's a deportation scheme, not one to process somewhere else outside of the country, and that's why they're concerned. But certainly he does fly to Italy, leaving behind some dreadful poll ratings. The poll just dropped this lunchtime, Martin, from Savanta. The Tories are down 2 points. Reform up 2 points. Reform, of course, led by Richard Tice, a GBNews presenter, and their lifetime president is Nigel Farage, straight out the jungle. Labour on 43, unchanged. Tories on 26. The Reform now up to 9 points, a single point behind the Liberal Democrats. The Reform is now capturing a third of the votes of the Tory party. If you could take those 9 points and add them to the Tory party, Labour will be panicking. They've got to look at themselves, the Tory party, and wonder why they're so far behind, why nothing is working in the polls, and maybe look to themselves. If they're rowing about immigration, nothing is cutting through, do something about it.
And of course, back home, it never rains but it pours. Possibility of a Scott Benton by-election up in the Blackpool area added to the Peter Bone. Could be a tough spring ahead for Rishi at the by-election polling booths.
That's right. They're different seats. Scott Benton, 36 MP elected in South Blackpool in 2019, majority of just 3,690. A seat he might have been expecting to lose in the next general election because anything below 10,000 is at risk with the current poll ratings. That doesn't excuse or even allow for his behaviour. He's been found guilty of it looks like, of lobbying to journalists of a fake gambling company. The committee is really damning in its report, saying there was an incorrect picture of what happened. All sorts of Labour MPs are on Twitter this afternoon, saying this is not how Parliament should be run. The committee said it's a very serious breach. He's been banned for 35 days from the House of Commons, a really serious sanction. 30 days at least, and that's 10 times more than the threshold required for a referendum on whether there should be a recall by-election. So it looks like if more than 10% of people in Blackpool South want a by-election on replacing Scott Benton within a 6-week period, then we are facing a red wall by-election probably around March, April time in the long run-up, I would say, to the next general election, which I'm expecting to be next autumn. That will probably come after by-election in Wellingborough, where Peter Bone is facing a recall by-election, not yet declared. But if more than 10% of people want one there because of his behaviour separate to this, then there could be a by-election in a safe Tory seat, 19,000, and a red wall seat. A stark reminder, I think, of the Tories and the challenges they face after a very difficult 2023 with by-elections, repeatedly losing and winning just one, Ruislip and South Ruislip and Uxbridge for Boris Johnson's seat, and that was won really on the back of the ULEZ concern.
OK, Chris, and as Brenda from Bristol might say about those by-elections, not another one. Thanks for joining us on the show.